carves a map through the darkest night. Some say love takes a heavy load, helps someone make the burden light, teaches you not to hold too tight. You and I have come a long way together. You and I got a long way to go. You don't have to ask me now and never, 'cause I'm already yours and you'll always be mine. Some say love is a fire that grows, bound to hurt when you let it go. Some say love is a choice we make, a holy vow we should never break. And maybe that's just the chance we take. You and I have come a long way together. You and I've got a long way to go. You don't have to ask me now and never, 'cause I'm already yours and you'll always be mine. You'll always be mine. You and I've come a long way together. You and I've got a long way to go. You don't have to ask me now and never, 'cause I'm already yours and you'll always be mine.
What is up? Oop, wrong screen here, as I always do. And once again, this thing is on the wrong one as well. So let me go on the other side. Always something. I always start the show off by showing love to those companies who showed this podcast love and they make this podcast possible. Guys, first and foremost is going to be my friends over at Company Cam. The only app every HVAC company needs. Company Cam makes it dead simple to communicate, document, and problem solve with your technicians no matter where you are. Company Cam brings documentation, communication, and liability protection together in one simple, easy-to-use app for you and your entire team. Takes unlimited photos and videos, share custom reports, create flawless before and afters, even communicate and share progress with property owners, with galleries and project timelines, all from your smartphone. Company Cam, the only app every HVAC company needs. Check it out at companycam.com/HVAC Uncensored. Go get a free 14-day trial. Free. 14 days, absolutely free. Check it out. See if you like it. If you don't, then hey, you tried it. That's all I ask is give it a try. If you like it, you will get 50% off of your first 2 months for being a part of HVAC Uncensored Nation. So go check out my friends at Company Cam. There's so many things with that app that I am learning that it does. It is amazing. It helps you rank on Google by how it keeps track of your post and where you are. I mean, it's pretty awesome. So definitely go check it out. Alrighty. Next, guys, my friends over at Blue On. I absolutely love this partnership. I love everybody at Blue On. It has been amazing. We've had 2 podcasts. We've only been affiliated for the last 2 months. Mr. Pete, the CEO, Mr. Brian and Dennis. The HVAC tech support episode was an absolute blast. We have so many big things planned for you guys coming up in the future. It is amazing and honored to be working with them. So, okay, guys, Blue On is a new sponsor of the podcast. Blue On is a perfect sponsor as we are about the same thing. Empowering HVAC techs to be better and have better lives. We all know Blue On for having the best app to get us manuals, info when we need it, and having the best tech support out there. Now Blue On is taking it up a notch, giving you access to exact part list and part numbers for over 300,000 model numbers, and then letting you order those parts directly from your local supply house. You guys aren't going to believe it how awesome this is. Blue On has done all the research for your supply house. All you need to do is find the right model number, and Blue On takes care of the rest. You can even send requests to suppliers who don't carry the brand you are working on, because Blue On gives you that supply house the cross-reference info and options so they can get you 100% compatible parts that they carry. How fucking cool is that? Blue On just keeps raising the bar on how they support techs in the field. As we all know, Blue On is 100% free for techs forever. 100% free forever. But what you didn't know is that when you order parts from your local supply house using Blue On, they get paid a small fee. This is how they can keep giving us all this amazing free support. You get to support Blue On by making the choice and that only you can make to order your parts on Blue On. It will save you tons of time, frustration, and you will never get the wrong part again. We all have that problem. Come on now, especially nowadays. And you will contribute to the Blue On community, which is here to serve techs. That's fucking awesome. It really is. The fact that they didn't make you go through some like online service, HVAC.com, you got to buy your parts from them, that you can still go through the same local supply house that you always support and help Blue On at the same time. It is a win-win. It really is. In order to do that, you have to be a Blue On Pro member. Blue On Pros are the only ones that get that service, but it's all free. To be a Blue On member, to be a Blue On Pro member, it's all free. And if you're a Blue On Pro member, you can be part of my giveaway where I'm giving away some amazing Yellow Jacket tools. Watch a video that I post on social media, and you will see that. Guys, last but not least, I'm going to read this one real fast. I put a video out. Another company that is a newer sponsor that I'm just amazed with is my friends over at Chirp. Mr. Ryan Fenn, the CEO and owner of Chirp. Guys, automation in the trades is huge. Like we talk about, let's say, Angie's List or Home Advisor, and we're like, oh, these are bullshit. They give them to so many people. They waste my time. You're right. They do, because you have to be the first person to get back to them. You can't sit around and do that by yourself. You got shit to do. You got calls to run. You got people to manage or whatever your position is. Well, what if there was an automation that could do that for you? You didn't lose anything. It's already communicating with your customer base, keeping in constant contact between text, emails, and ringless voicemails. What if it could also reach out to those people for you automatically? You're always the first person to get in touch with them. As soon as it comes through, bam, automatically sends out. You start generating more leads. You didn't have to do anything extra. Guys, this automation is fucking amazing. I can't even say it enough. It's amazing. We use it at Beltway, and it's fucking amazing. All right. If you go to www.chirp.com/HVAC Uncensored, my friends over there will give you 50% off your first 3 months. If you own or run a business in the trades, even if it's not HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, whatever it is, I'm telling you, Chirp can help you. I promise you. I try not to promise too many things, but I promise you that Chirp will help you. All these companies that I offer, Company Cam, Chirp, are more business related. The other ones are technician related. Both of those companies will help you. I promise you that. All right, let's get on to the show, man. We got a good one, a little different tonight, but it's awesome. I can't wait to have this conversation. So let's get on with it. I don't know if the flag's going to work, so let's see. I don't think it's going to work. So you're just going to sit here and stare at me while I play the pledge then. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Five, four, three, two, one, go. Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast here on a special night, Tuesday night. Guys, I got a great show for you tonight, man. This is, it's good because it's HVAC mixes something else. So, guys, we're just going to go ahead and get into it. This is a guy who, he owns an HVAC company. He's one of us. He's a brother in arms in the trade, as well as something else that he's going to help talk to us about that I think all of us need help on. Because we don't worry about it enough. So, guys, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Robert Garcia. How are you, buddy? Let me hear. Oh, the mute didn't go on. There you are. What's up, my man?
Hey, Gil, how's it going, man? Thanks for that, man. The pledge, man, got me all pumped up.
Thanks,
Love
man.
that.
I try to get people pumped up in the beginning. I got custom music built for the intro. In the process to try to make it different because I want people to get excited. That's what it should be. But thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate you taking your time. I know everybody's busy, especially this time of year. I guess before we get going, like I said before, why don't we let the listeners know a little bit about you, who Robert is, what your background is, etc., stuff like that.
Perfect. Yeah. So I was actually in the military as well. I was in the Army. Came home from the Army and I started working in the trades. My dad's a HVAC as well, works for a huge school district. He's actually in charge of the program, refrigeration and HVACs. They work on thousands of units at the district that they work at. Within 4 years of being in the trades, I started my own company. That was back in 2007. Sorry about that, my computer's. That was back in 2007. Got my license and started my own firm. And then just recently, everything was going really good. And just recently, within the last 2 years, 2020, we all know what happened in 2020. Some things kind of put my back up against the wall, and I had to make some changes. And here we are. Still got the HVAC company that's still going strong, but I had lost probably about 60% of my revenue. The contract that I had through Amazon, so it made me make some changes, and here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so let me ask you this before we get into some other topics. What struggles did you have when you started your business? If you could go back right now and do some different things when you start your business, what would be your advice to somebody out there looking to start their own company right now?
Oh my God, the number one thing would be finances, because the thing with the HVAC trade and even as a technician, even before I start, I opened up my own company, I was making a lot of money. Within my first 6 months, I was making $1,000 a week. And at 18, 19 years old, that's a lot, it's decent.
Yeah.
And then within my first year, I was up to $5,000 a week. And then when I opened my own company, everything just 10x'd obviously from there. And going from, my parents, they bought a house and raised 3 children on $1,000 a month, back then, and things changed for them dramatically. And seeing, where they came from, and now I'm all of a sudden in this pile of money, making all this money. I didn't know what to do with it. So the number one thing I would say, just finances, like get that taken care of first.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, I agree, finances and, your pricing right. A lot of people don't get their pricing right. They're busy. They think they're so busy until they look at the bank at the end of the year and they don't have any money. But, and also a lot of people when they start their business don't realize that that's awesome that you were able to start your business and still make money, because sometimes you can be the greatest tech. It doesn't mean you're going to be a good business owner. It's two different skill
Yes.
sets. And sometimes you make that leap and you may end up making less the first couple of years than what you made before. But if you put in the work and you lay the foundation, sky's the limit. So I
Exactly.
I try to ask people who come on that question so that, you know, the viewers and listeners can hear that, so they know, because I don't ever want to talk anybody out of starting their own company. And that's the American dream, to be a business owner, to own your own company. I just want them to be prepared and just know, because more of the people that do that fail than succeed. And
Yes.
if we can try to get that number up, then by all means, let's talk about those topics. Let's talk about those situations so that people can be prepared, be ready, and thrive. There's nothing more than I like when people are like, Gil, I listened to you 4 years ago. I started my own company, and you know, we just hit $1 million in revenue or something like that. And I'm like, fuck yeah, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to hear that kind of stuff, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, like you said, it's different from being a technician installer to a business owner. Huge difference.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, especially in the beginning, you're wearing all the hats. If you don't have,
Yeah.
what is going on here? There you go. In the beginning, if you're wearing all the hats, you're trying to be the service guy, the installer, the dispatcher, the accountant,
Yeah.
the CSR. So it's definitely a lot. So that's what I say, that I want people to know what they're getting themselves into.
I'll share a quick story real quick. So when I started back in '08, it was pretty rough because I was living on my own and whatnot, and I had a job, and I was only getting paid $18 an hour. I had come from a commission only job that I was making so much money, to all of a sudden making only $18 an hour, and that was the year I decided to get my license. I got my license, started doing really well, and then I ended up starting getting warranty contracts, Old Republic, and the home warranty contracts. And I was during that time I had moved back in with my parents, and I was using my parents' office to do my paperwork and stuff like that. And I remember one day I came home from 16-hour day in the field, and started doing my billing, my paperwork, and my mom walked in and she looked at me. She's like, just move, just leave. And I left, and she sat down and took over that part of the business. And within a month, she literally 5 times my income, because I was trying to do everything all at once, and that wasn't me. I'm the technician, I'm the installer, so you got to hire the right people to do the right job that you don't have the strengths in.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's awesome that mama was there to help you, and you had that resource. So, and if God forbid your mom can't do that for you, like Robert just said, don't be afraid to hire someone, ask somebody for help. The biggest thing that I hear, man, is, especially when I first started this show and I was doing it with Kelly, who was my co-host back then, still a good friend of mine, people would reach out to us for help, but they would wait way too late. And I don't know everything about business. I mean, don't get me wrong. Kelly was a business owner. I've ran businesses. And I feel like by the time people would ask for help, it was too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at that time, yeah, maybe you should close the doors now, because you know what I mean? You waited so long to ask for help, you kind of got yourself in a big hole. But it's still good. So are you doing like, you just said like mostly commercial stuff?
Residential, mostly residential, light commercial. I mean, I've done plenty of commercial in my life, but mostly residential stuff.
Nice. And what area? You're out in California, right? That side?
Southern California. Yeah, I live in Riverside County, but I mean, we service Los Angeles, Riverside, Orange County, San Diego County every once in a while.
Nice. How many people you got working for you now?
Now, just me.
Oh.
Me.
Hey.
Yeah, I had, so before 2020, I had 3 vehicles. So what, 6, 7 people, including myself, 8 people actually, because I had office staff. And then after, whatever happened, I had to start letting people go and whatnot. And yeah, so now I just take on calls and when I need help, I have helpers that help me out in the field.
Hey, that's cool, man. Hey, and that's the struggle that people went through, man. And that's the real conversations we have. And it's awesome that you're able to still have your business. And some people always want a business where they want to be that guy that has 30 trucks on the road. That's great if that's what your end game is. I know some
Yeah.
guys, all they ever want to be is a one-man band. They're not trying to be rich. They want to make enough money to take care of them and their family, and that's what they want. So that's what people need to know, that there's so many different avenues in this industry. There's so many different
Yeah.
directions and how you can do it. It is not a one size fits all. But that's awesome that
Mm-mm.
you were able to, you know, to survive it first and foremost. Because let's be honest, some people didn't survive.
No, 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 not at all. Actually, when I started the business, it was in '08, and everybody was telling me,
Yeah.
don't, it's the worst time to start a business. And, and going back to your first question, what's one of the things you would tell new people to, that are starting out, continue to learn, read, always learn, always learn something new, read, just educate yourself. So in 2008, when all that happened, I was like, no, like this is, according to what I've read over here, this is the perfect time to open a business because people still need to be serviced. The clients still they need help. So just with that experience, it kind of helped me see beyond what's going on right now, and in the last 2 years and whatnot.
Is I know a friend of mine. Well, I would say a guy that I knew. He wasn't really, I would say, call a friend, but uh, he had a huge company that he had back then where he had a huge new construction. He was
Wow.
making money. I remember his boat, his beach house, his wife driving around in a brand new Escalade, and all this other stuff. And he didn't have his service side of his company built up. So when new construction took a dog, fell off the fucking cliff, he was done. He ended up closing the doors. He went to work for somebody else, and no bullshit, him and his wife got divorced. I saw that
Oh,
boat get sold. I mean, it was pretty nasty. And he was a good guy, but I literally watched that thing just fucking destroy that guy's life. So that's why new construction has always scared me. Do I think it's cool if you have some new construction? Like, you know, yeah, if you have a new construction like division, or maybe it's like a small percentage of your customer base, yeah, that's fine. But if that's like 50 or 60 or more percent of your business, that's scary, man. That's Russian roulette,
yeah.
and I don't know if I want to plan my future like that.
Yeah, dude, it is. That $18 an hour job that I told you I had, he was a new construction guy, and then when I came on board, I started selling job because I came from commission base. I knew how to do all that stuff. Started selling jobs and big ticket, and I pretty much kept him busy. Like I kept his company busy, but he didn't want to pay me more than $18 an hour. It's another story. But yeah, I agree with you, man. New construction, it's I mean, it's tough. It's a tough gig unless you really know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's crazy. We have some people, let's see, asking questions down here. Um, what do you guys think about the guys who have never worked a day in their lives in HVAC, but have the whole sales experience down, and own HVAC companies? Well, Familia Sanchez, I'll be honest with you. This is exactly what I said about being a good business owner and being a HVAC tech are two different skill sets. I'll be honest, some of the best business owners or HVAC business owners out there weren't the best techs, man. I know it sucks from a guy in the field, but that's the way it works. And sales is a part of the business you have to have, but it also depends on how the company's built. Are you an installation based company? Are you maintenance based? Do you just do service only? So it depends on how the company is built, but that happens a lot, man. That's just the nature of the beast. That sometimes the best owners or the biggest owners never turned wrenches. At least not for the big places. So you can, and that's why I say for all of the true HVAC techs out there that want to become business owners, that's amazing. By all means, go do it, but
Hmm.
prepare yourself for it, because just because you're an awesome tech does not mean you're going to be an awesome business owner. So that's my 2 cents. I mean, I don't know what your 2 cents is on it, man.
Yeah, one of the companies I used to work for, or actually I was there for a year and a half. I learned so much there, all commission based. My cousin got me that job. He never spent a day in the field in his life. He was just the office manager. It was a plumbing, heating, and air conditioning company. We did service, we did installations, we did it all. So I would go out and I would diagnose the system, or I would just sell them a new unit. go pick it up, go install it. That's what I did. My cousin, he just did he ran the show. He worked there for I think like 10 years, so he knew the ins and outs of the business. And this business they're still in business. They're probably doing like $4 or $5 million a year, like easy. When my cousin parted ways from there, he got his plumbing license and he opened up his own company with the experience of being, office manager. And he's been going on 15 years now. But now he's to the point where, because he, had his experience in one, now he's in the field. Now he's turning a wrench. So he had to learn how to kind of do plumbing because it's his business now, so it just depends on, just depends on you.
Yeah. And if you're one of those guys who starts a business that doesn't know the trade, you're going to have somebody that you can trust that does know the trade, though. I will say that. You're going to have to, that's somebody that, so to speak, knows the X's and O's part of it. How to fix things, has a HVAC license, depending on your state. In my state, they're still master journeyman's apprentice. You have to have a license to be able to do that. But a prime example is, my friend and the owner of my company, Ryan. Ryan's 27 right now. He started this company when he was a young dude. He didn't have a bunch of experience in the trade. He had tried to do a little bit of everything, and he took the fucking leap. So, yes, sometimes you got to take the leap, and you got to eat those shit sandwiches in the beginning. But if you stick with it, and you keep riding it out, it works. I mean, next time I bring Ryan back on the podcast, obviously you guys know Ryan will be back on the show. He's, ask him to really tell you the story of how he started this. I mean, now we're a multi-million-dollar HVAC company, but he'll tell you there was plenty of weeks where he couldn't fucking, one of the few originals left is our lead installer. I actually didn't play his song today, but he's a lead singer of a band, which is awesome. If you like alternative music, check out Rise Among Rivals. His band is fucking awesome. He's actually away for it now. But anyway, he couldn't even afford to pay him back in the beginning. Hey, I don't have money to pay you this week. And Dave stuck by him, and now it works out. So that's what you have to know. You have to have that fortitude to know that you have to push through it. It's like anything in life, everybody. Nobody's going to give you a fucking thing. If you want it, put to the pedal to the metal and go fucking get it. But without that business experience, you are going to learn as you go. You're going to fail, but you got to keep going, because the moment you slow down or give up, that's when that dream goes away. So that's why I try to tell things on here. I went into business with friends of mine years ago, and it failed. And it wasn't because of knowledge, nothing like that. It was because of the people I chose to do it with, but I'm honest about it. It's a learning lesson. You got to do what you got to do. Thank God, I learned from it, kept rolling, moved on, and now I'm in other, here and other businesses that are successful because I took that stuff and I learned from it to move on. It's funny how you said about talking about Grant Cardone. Kraus, one of the viewers in there, says, what did he say? I'm trying to find his first comment. Grant Cardone has no HVAC experience, but has learned we were essential, and now he's all up in our space. Guys, venture capitalists will always be in our industry. They know that we are very valuable. We're not going anywhere. And the fact that there is some business owners out there struggling, that if they had some capital and some processes in place, that they could really blow up. So these guys are going to come in, and they're going to be the ones who do that. And
the shark from what's his name, O'Leary, the bald-headed guy, from the Shark Tank. A lot of people don't know this, but he was doing $300,000 a month as a college student with the HVAC company. He started an HVAC company in college and was doing $300,000 a month.
Yeah, because those guys know business and they understand the principles behind it. What your gross profit should be and how much money you should be making. Let's be honest. We all love what we do and we love to help people, but we can't do it for free. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we go to work to make money. That's the end game. Yeah. So that's nuts. And speaking of that, and we can come back to the HVAC part, but guys, the point of this is to segue in so Robert's HVAC tech, but he is kind of branched off in his career to do a little something different now that I think is a really good topic for us to talk about. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that, Robert?
Sure, Gil. Yeah, absolutely. So again, 2020 happened. I lost 60% of my income, so I had to kind of make some changes. And I'm very young. I'm 40 years old, but I being as it's just me in the field now, I couldn't see myself still being in the field at 50, 60, 70 years old. So I had to, make some changes and start thinking about my family and myself. I had seen a friend of mine posting on Facebook every month that he was doing so much in income per month, so much in income per month. I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive, Well, when I lost one of my contracts, I had sat down with my wife and had a conversation. And I said, hey, I want to take a look at this. I don't know what it is, but my friend's making a lot of money, and it looks like something that I could do. So she's like, all right, just go for it. So I called my buddy, had a conversation with him. Within a month, I was getting my insurance license. Within a month, I asked him, I was like, hey, dude, you're making 40 grand a month. He's like, I was like, is this real? He's like, yeah. Okay, out of that 40 grand a month, like what's profit? He's like, oh, 125%. I was like, well, what do you mean by that? So, yeah, what do you mean 125%? So sat down with me, he explained all that to me. I got into it. I started off selling simple, what's called final expense insurance. It's more for like older people that didn't take care of their burial and stuff like that. They pay so much a month for, up to $40,000, and it just kind of takes care of that. Then I started to learn about what's called mortgage protection insurance, and that just basically pays off your mortgage if you were to pass away. You or your partner were to pass away, it just pays off the mortgage. And then through that, so I put the same effort that I put into one thing. I do everything the same. Like when I started, heating and air conditioning, within a year, I was already installing, and I was already a lead service technician within a year. Within 4 years, I had my own business going. So now I'm over here, within my first year, I just kept going and pushing. I learned advanced market. And when I started learning advanced market, my whole world opened up. And Gil, I was like, you know what? Everybody needs to know about this. And I kind of took a step back and I sat down and I was like, where was this at when I, started making $1,000 a week? Where was this at when I opened my company and I had all this extra money that I was looking for somewhere to put my money away that's going to grow, compound interest and be 100% safe from the market, and to where I still have, 100% liquidity to my money. Like, where are these? I know they exist. I read books about it. I know it's out there, but how do I put it together? What do I do? And just, through research and whatnot, I was like, you know what? Everybody in the HVAC field, whether you're a business owner or a tradesman or tradeswoman, everybody needs to know about this, because you're going to come to the point where you're going to have kids. You're going to want, you want to build a financial wall around your kids. And this by far is the safest and the best way that there is out there. And so I'm one of those people that, like, I don't watch television. I don't watch the news. If I need to be informed about something, somebody will tell me. There's TVs in restaurants. I don't need to hear about all this. I call it noise, white noise. I don't need to hear about all that stuff. So when I found out about this, I was like, how come more people don't know about this? And I started doing my research, and I was like, that's why more people don't know about it, because they don't want us to know about it.
Exactly.
And I could get more into that later on. That's a whole nother, so there's two sides of, when I educate myself on this, I study up so I can help my clients the best possible way. And then I study up the history of stuff. I don't get into the history of this type of stuff with my clients, only some clients, because they've already been down that rabbit hole. And Gil, you probably know what I'm talking about. But it's just the way everything, our whole economy, the whole economic system, it is the way it is right now because of just certain things. And when I found this is it's a hidden secret, a hidden strategy that's been around longer than the United States of America, longer than the IRS has been around, and more people need to know about this.
And what people don't realize, before I forget real fast, when somebody asked a question, do you need to have $1 million of insurance for your company or any company? In a service business, I would say $1 million umbrella policy is probably the minimum, and it's not as expensive as you think it is, to be honest with you. you know, that $1 million, if you burn somebody's house down or something like that, goes quick. So, yes, Tong, I would say $1 million umbrella policy, if you're starting a company, should be probably the minimum that you should do. And if you start doing some commercial stuff, you have to have probably at least that to get on some roofs or do certain jobs. But to what Robert just said, okay, and the whole point of this, guys, is to bring up this topic. I'm not telling you to go sell insurance. If you do, then by all means do that. But the point is to bring up these topics so you know about it. Guys, 401ks, to be honest, you shouldn't even look at your 401ks right now because it's going to make you jump off a fucking bridge. You know, there's a 401k, there's a Roth 401k. To me, a Roth 401k is better, but that's a whole nother thing. But these life insurance policies that he's talking about, guys, you can put money in these things. They get compound interest that is guaranteed over the life of it. So you get the highs of the stock market, but you don't feel any of the lows. Okay? So you will never have less than what you put in there. And the best part is say, I don't know, say you put 10 grand into it and 5 years from now, let's just say you have 40 grand in there. You need to borrow $20,000 of it. You can borrow $20,000 of your own money and pay like 1% and then put it back and you have no penalties, no fault, no nothing. There's so many things to it, guys, that you need to know this. We're blue-collar trades workers, and we bust our ass for our money. But if you're smart, all those years you're killing yourself, if you set yourself up financially with that money, you don't got to be 40, 50, 60 years old climbing in attics. That was the reason I wanted to have this. So when Robert reached out, I was like, you know what? This is amazing fucking conversation. I would love to have this for everybody because I have one. I have money in different places because of some people that guided me in the right place because I was stupid. I was like, man, you know, a lot of people know that I was an addict years ago. I wasted a lot of time in my life. And I thought that I was like, I'll never be able to retire because I wasted so much time. Guys, I have more money for retirement than most people fucking, you know, twice my age because I've been guided by people who I respect and they know what they're talking about. So these are things that you should be looking into. These life insurance accounts are better than your if you have a bunch of money sitting in a savings account, take that shit out of that savings account and put it into something like this. I'm not saying take all your savings, but I mean most
of my clients, Gil, they're moving about 80% of their money, and I have people moving millions of dollars once they see the plans that we have, Gil. And these strategies, I mean, like I said, they've been around forever, so everybody's familiar with the Rockefellers, right? What a lot of people don't know is if you were to take all their money, all their bank accounts, all their businesses, all their real estate, everything away from them, they're still billionaires through these life insurance policies that they bought way back when. You know, there's a gentleman that I study. His name is Nelson Nash. He's actually the creator of what's called the infinite banking concept, and it excuse me. He just passed away in 2019. He was 90 years old. He had, in his lifetime, he had 50 life insurance policies because you could be the owner of a life insurance policy. You could buy as many policies as you want. Every time there's a new kid born in your family, grandkid, great grandkid, buy a policy on them. And you control not only that death benefit, but you control the cash accumulation on it as well. If you're a business owner, you could buy policies on all your employees. You control the money. You could give your employee the full death benefit, and you keep the cash accumulation. And you need a brand new service truck. You don't got to go to the bank and pay the bank their ridiculous interest fees, or you don't got to go to your own bank account and take out 50 grand or 100 grand to buy a truck and put that money up on the hold. No, you go to your insurance policy, you pull the money from your insurance policy, and you pull it out as a loan so you don't get taxed on the gains. And you pay it back if you want to. It's better if you pay it back because it compounds more. But if you don't have the insurance carrier on your door calling you, hey, you haven't made a payment. Hey, we're going to repo your truck. No, it's your money. It's banking on a you and me level, basically, is what it is. I have other clients that, I can sit here and share all kinds of examples with you. I have another client of mine. He's in the trades as well. He's He's a tradesman. He works for a company, huge company. Him and his wife, they're about $500,000 in debt. This includes their mortgage. They're looking at about 30 years to pay off their debt. I sat down with them and I put them into a plan where they're going to pay their debt off in 10 years, their mortgage included. It's going to save them about $70,000 in interest payments. And not only that, but by the time he retires, he's going to have an extra $600,000 to his retirement. Untaxed.
That's amazing. Real fast,
Yeah.
my brother's in here, the one I told you who
Okay, cool.
So if you see Jason P in the comments, guys, that's my older brother, and he commented, it's always better to pay the taxes today. On different things. If you pay taxes on things now, you control it because Lord knows what it's going to be. When you take the money out. So that's true too.
Yeah, that's a good statement. So with a lot of our clients, what we're doing is, and again, we have different products where they either put a huge lump sum or they pay monthly, and they're tax deferred. So that way, when they do retire, and they do have to start paying taxes, now they're at a lower tax bracket. They're not paying as much because they're only getting Social Security. So they're not making as much as money. So now they're getting taxed at a lower bracket. Like we have one product that at age 72 and a half, they have to start taking money out. So the IRS gets their money. But now they're 72 and a half. They're not paying. They're not in the same tax bracket as they were when they were working, making all kinds of money.
No, that makes sense. Well, somebody asked, my brother said, rich man's Roth is what he's explaining.
That's a good term. I love that. And again, I have people asking me all the time, like, I'm too old. This is not going to work for me. I'm too young. It's not going to work for me. I don't have enough money. This is not going to work for me. I already make too much money. This is not going to work for me. This works for everybody. It works for everybody. My son's 19 years old, and he, I see he's $100 a month on his PlayStation. I'm like, son, that's a waste of money. It's not going to do you any good, son. So I put him into a plan where he's going to pay $100 a month into this plan until he's 65. When he's 65, he'll stop paying into this plan. He would have put about between $60,000 and $70,000 total into this plan. And then from age 65 to 100, he's going to get a little under $70,000 a year in income, retirement income. Like it's just going to come out. It's insane. I put my girls, I have a 1-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old daughter. By the time they're 50 years old, the plan's going to be worth $2 million, and that's when they turn 24, that's with them taking, it's a difference, obviously 1 year to 4 years. So the numbers are going to be skewed a little bit. It's my 1-year-old is going to get about $70,000 that she's going to pull out at age 24 to use for college or to buy a car, buy a house, or open a business. That's what I'm leaning towards. And then my 4-year-old, for her, it's going to be $50K. A little bit of a difference, but that's a good step up. And then when they retire at age 50, they're going to be pulling out between $80,000 and $120,000 a year till age 100.
That's amazing.
And these are,
somebody
it's crazy.
asked, can you put a link? Tongue, before it's over, we'll put a link so you guys can get in touch if you want to do stuff with Robert. Kraus asked, isn't there a limit on how much you can put in? And then he said age-wise, before there's any penalty, like 55 or something. I may be wrong.
No, there's no limits. There's no penalties. It all comes down to your health and age. Obviously, if you're getting yourself covered. But if you're buying policies for other people, you could have as much as you want. Insurance companies, this is one thing that the government has not been able to put their hands in.
Oh, like Social Security?
Yes.
If they'd have left that for what FDR created it for, it would be fine. But they've borrowed against that shit so fucking much. Now it's just a big waste of time. If you think you're gonna live off Social Security, grab the hammer and smack yourself in the nuts now, because that's never going to happen.
And that's the thing. When shit hits the fan and the government needs money, they go to the easiest things first. Social Securities, pensions, Roth IRAs, 401ks, the stock market, they manipulate the stock market. We all know that, the bankers, the people that are in charge and all that stuff. And the insurance companies, untouched. And the thing with insurance companies, it's a contract. It's a contract. So whatever it says in the contract, that's what you're going to get. So if you're guaranteed, to never go below zero, it's guaranteed. You're never going to go below zero. If you're guaranteed non-cap rates, it's in the contract. So when we do away with contracts, America's fucked.
Oh yeah.
That's just what it is, So that's another strength that insurance companies have to back up on, these strategies and stuff. And again, us blue collar people don't know about it because bankers don't want us to know about it, because if we just use banks just to put our money in, just to do debit and checking, we wouldn't need to borrow money from them. So they wouldn't take our 100,000 that we put in, or our million that we put in, and lend it out to 100 different people and print more money and inflate that money. You know what I mean? With insurance companies, you pay your premium. That's real money. That's hard. Like Grant Cardone always says, that's real money. You can't inflate that. And again, they keep this away from, and even like, I have a lot of clients that they're like, well, my financial advisor is taking care of me. Okay, that's fair. I asked them, how much money could you afford not to lose? Well, what do you mean by that? Well, yeah, how much money could you afford not to lose? And I'm not saying about this, I'm not saying that, 100% across the board. There are a lot of financial advisors that really do care about their clients, and they're like, oh, this is a way better plan. I'm going to lose money from this, but you need to move your money. With a lot of financial advisors, they make their money whether you make money or not. You just lost $1 million, $100,000, 50 grand, 10 grand, $1,000, $200. Your financial advisors still made money. They still made money.
That's why I like Fisher Investments so much. The way they have it set up, where they only make money when you make money.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is really good. Some questions, guys. If you want the last 15 minutes of this podcast, I'll open up the phone lines. You guys can call in and ask questions to Robert if you'd like.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people are asking, can you put a link? Where can I learn more about buying these insurance policies and stuff like that? So they're interested. You should check it out, guys. Like I said, I'm fortunate that I have my brother. So if you see Jason P., that's my older brother. So I have him, who he knows this stuff, who he's the one that I refer to when I, need something. He helps guide me. But and there's still things that I need to do. So let's say this, just so they know. How simple is it for one of them to buy one of these policies? So I call you tomorrow, say, hey, Robert, I want to buy an insurance policy. What's the process?
So basically the process is, Gil, I'm going to sit down with you, Gil. We could do virtual. I have a license in pretty much whatever state I need to get a license in. So yeah, absolutely. I'll sit with you guys virtually. If you have a wife, I'll sit with you and your wife. It usually breaks down into 3 meetings. The first meeting is for me to obviously build rapport. I just need to build trust. And at the end of the day, I need to gain your guys' trust. I have to gain your guys' trust. That's the most important thing, is for you guys to trust me. Because if you guys don't trust me, anything I say is it's gonna fly out the window. So I gain trust from you guys, and then I sit down with you guys and I really find out who Gil is. I find out what Gil wants, what's in Gil's mind, what Gil's dreams, what Gil's hopes are. Well, Gil, you have kids. Cool. What do you want for your kids? Where do you see yourself in 60 years? Okay, cool. I figure out all that. Then I find out a little bit about your health. Well, just certain questions about your health, so I know which way to go. Because again, I am a broker, so I have access to all the insurance carriers in America. I'm not just one. I work for one. No, I have access to whoever I need to gain access to. So after I find out what your health questions are, then I find out your financials. I ask you, about your debt, about how much money you have in the bank, how much money you make per year, all those questions. And then from there, we set another appointment. If you do have 401ks and things like that, then I ask you for your financial statements. I don't need I always tell my clients, I don't need account numbers. I don't need any of that stuff. I just need the statements for the tickers, because what we do is we go in depth on what you have. We'll look at the last 5 years, see how it's done, see how much fees you're paying, because a lot of people don't know they're paying fees. They're not only paying fees to their financial advisor, but they're paying fees to whatever index their money's in. And that's not helping you go forward. That's compounding you backwards. So I found out how much fees, and I put a PowerPoint presentation together for you. So when we meet again, so on the first meeting, when we're done, we'll set a meeting for, depending on how detailed your situation is, it could be as far as 2 days out to a week out, depending on how deep I got to go, how much homework I have to do. we set the second meeting. On the second meeting, I kind of go through and I show you what I found and whatnot. And then from there, we set a third meeting. And on the third meeting is when I really get in to show you your guys' report, your illustration, what it's going to look like for you guys in 10 years, what it's going to look like for you guys in 20 years, what it'll look like for you guys in 100 years. And then if you guys like what you see, again, it's free information. There's no obligations at all. If you guys like what you see, then at that point we put in an application, which at that point, yes, I will need your social security and banking information. And that's not for me. That's the insurance carrier, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that have to approve the application. So that's pretty much the process. It's really easy. I typically spend anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. I've done 2 hours per appointment, but no longer than 6 hours for all three appointments. And again, that just depends on the details that the client has, because everybody's different. There's not one fingerprint that's the same.
No, that makes sense. So let's say that they want to do this they don't want to do it virtually. I'm just trying to think of all the what ifs. They want to do it in their local town. Where should they be going to? Their bank? Should they be looking up in insurance brokers? Like, how would they go about trying to find somebody, in their local area?
The best way, honestly, I could say, yes, go on Google. There's a bunch of other people that do what I do. There's a bunch of other companies. I'm not the only one. I'm not going to sit here and say I am the only one. You could either reach out to me and I could look for agents that work, with my brokerage and offer the same products that I offer. And, I could hook you up with them. Or again, you could just, do your own research on infinite banking, and all kinds of different people are going to pop up. It just depends on who you trust or who you feel good with, but as far as virtual, I mean, if it's anything about you not feeling comfortable doing, I could put you on the phone with the carrier. Go as far as putting on the phone with the carrier, and that way you feel more comfortable, because ever since the last 2 years, we went from being in home, and I was in home on everything in home, and then I recently had to go virtual because of what's going on. So
the vid.
that would be, what was that?
The vid.
Yeah, you could tell I don't like to say the name.
Yeah, you can't say it out loud. It's like the Candy Man. Don't say it 3 times.
Oh man, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, man. I could go deep with that too, but no, we don't need. That's not for here.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. So yeah, so it's use Robert as a resource. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do highly suggest that you guys check this out, man. Like, we beat up our bodies for so many years doing what we do, and I get it. We're all hardworking men and women. But trust me when I say, look at some of these avenues to make your money work for you. Because a lot of us think like, oh, our pension, our 401k. To be honest, most of you guys don't have a pension, because nowadays pensions are going to be like government workers, state employees. Some companies have pensions, and if you do, that's cool. But most companies have a 401k. It's a standard 401k, and right about now, that's probably looking like dog shit. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
So find out the difference between a standard IRA and a Roth IRA, as far as, the different tax deferments and how it works and stuff like that. So I can let you explain them, but as far as I knew is, a standard IRA, you're getting hit on taxes pretty hard. When it's the Roth, it comes out, pre-taxed, right? Before it goes in.
Yeah, exactly. So you got qualified accounts and non-qualified accounts. Non-qualified account are accounts that they've already been taxed, like things that are in your savings account, your checkings account, stocks and bonds, things like that. And then you got your qualified accounts. Those are the things that have not been taxed yet. So yeah, and those are the things that are failing miserably right now. A lot of those products.
Oh yeah, somebody said. There aren't any beneficiaries on a pension. So
Exactly. And the thing with a lot of those products too is that you have to wait till you're 59 and a half before you could even pull money out without getting taxed. And then once you turn 59 and a half, there's only so much you could put into it. And that's not fair. You're making so much money and you want your money to compound. Okay, I want to play 100% in the game. I don't want to play just a little bit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what's great about these insurance policies is that you could go all in. Like I said, I have clients that are starting out $100 a month. I have another client I just helped the other day. He's actually in the military, and he sees it when he gets out of the military. He's not going to have enough money, and then with inflation and the way everything's going, people don't understand that by the time they what the amount of money that they're making now and living off of, by the time that they retire, there's going to be a huge gap because their income's going to go down, but their living expenses are going to still be going up. So there's going to be a huge retirement gap, and people don't know that. And then it's crazy. So I have a client right now that he's going to put $250 a month into this. He's already 35, so he doesn't have much time, but he still has a lot of time as far as the compound interest to build up compared to a juvenile and whatnot. But by the time he retires at 60, he's going to have more money in his retirement than he would have gotten from the military.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My brother put in
And
there. Oh, I was gonna say he just said Roth is taxed, traditional is pre-taxed.
there you go. Yep.
Yeah. Somebody else in the comment said, "What is the safeguard in case something like COVID and you can't make payments?" So in life insurance, if you put money in there, I'm trying to remember, is that making, as long as you don't borrow against it, you're not necessarily making payments, right?
No, so the way it works is you have in California you have a 60-day grace period. So if you can't make a payment, if you have 60 days to come up to date, and if you need to pull money out of the policy to make that payment, you could do that. There's other policies that don't accumulate like term insurance and things like that. You still get a 60-day grace period, but we're not talking about those policies. Those are great policies, and there are some instances where I do add term insurance to my client, and again, that just depends on their situation.
I soloed you there. So
Okay, cool.
yeah,
I wasn't sure.
yeah, no, it's good. That's why I try to say something before the show, so I'm not like, people are like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, that's why I love to have this conversation, man, because I feel like there's too many, like I said earlier, there's too many working men and women out there that don't know about this, and this is just to raise the questions for you guys to go ask. Like I said, use Robert as a resource, or just go ask that question to, get people out there, to help yourself. You know what I mean? So definitely do that. I think I'm going to bring my brother on one show too to cover some more topics like this.
That'd be awesome. And to answer the last question about if they can't make the payment or whatever, so when I set up these policies, I do what's called overfunding the policy because inflation it's never going to go away. The cost of insurance is going to go up with inflation as well. So when I set up policies, I overfund these policies. So if somebody tells me that they have $1,000 a month that they want to put into this policy, I'll set up the illustration. I'll set it up to where it's $1,500 a month that they're putting into this policy. So now there's usually a minimum that they could put in. They have a window of so if they can't make the full 1,000 or 1,500 that month, then they can make maybe 500 or 300 or whatever. So they still have coverage. They still have the policy, and nothing lapses. And their interest still builds, and and as far as the interest that builds and compounds, so there's three. You got your death benefit, you got your surrender value, then you got your net. Your death benefit is what you get when your beneficiaries get when you pass away. Your surrender charges, that's the cash accumulation. So say you put in $100,000, and in 10 years it's worth, and our clients are doubling their money within 10 years, more than doubling their money. So in 10 years, that 100,000 is now worth $250,000, and you're like, what, I want to buy another property because my business is expanding. I need property. So you take it $100,000 from that $250,000. It's what's called a non-direct loan. The insurance carrier is not going to recognize that you took out $100,000. The insurance carrier is still going to see the $250,000 in your account, and that's what it's going to be building interest on, compared to a bank account you're only gaining, we'll say 4% just to be nice interest, but
Yeah,
that's not
being
true.
nice.
Just to be nice. You take that 100,000 out, you only have $150,000 that you're gaining interest on. So, that's another thing that people don't realize that you could do with these insurance policies.
Yeah, no, and also I want to tell people, obviously the more you can do, the better, but to get started, something is better than nothing.
Exactly.
So even if you're what seems like such a small amount where, you're doing something where it's $100 and, whatever, that's still going to build up. It's still going to lead to something. It's better than not doing that $100. So,
Yes.
and like he said, you can have multiple, you can do multiple plans. So maybe you're like, you finally get a little better in your life. You're a little bit more better financially means wise. And you go, I'm going to keep that one that's $100, but now I'm going to do another one.
Yes.
And I'm going to put $2,000 into this, $2,000 a month into this one or whatever it may be. So even if you start small, just start. Once you start that plan, so say somebody goes and starts one for $100 a month. When you sign that contract, is that locked in? Can you up that, or would it just make more sense just to start another one?
No, you could up it. You could up. You have 30 days to because a lot of times clients come back within those 30 days because you do have what's called a 30-day free look period. So when people get their contract, they have 30 days to be like, you know what, I don't want this no more. I changed my mind. Okay, cool. You get your money back. Carrier will send your money back, no questions asked. So within that month, you could up the coverage, you could lower the coverage, or you could just completely cancel it. So yeah, you could change it. And then sometimes, just depending on the situation and what year we're in and how the economy is doing in the market, just depending on that current situation, that day and time, that particular second, if it makes more sense to to stack another plan on top of that, then we'll do that. And that we do policy reviews and things like that to just to keep up to date, just to keep our clients up to date. And it's very easy because we do all the work, we do all the work at the end of the day.
Some same guy, Mr. Tongue asked, he said, can you pay this yearly?
Absolutely. Yes, you can pay annually.
Nice.
You can pay annually.
Put that tax money, man. You guys getting tax money? Going out and blowing it and getting a TV or some new kicks or something stupid. Put that shit into a life insurance plan, Let that tax money fucking make money off of you, man. But it's just, yeah, and sometimes you're going to have to cut something out. You're going to have to, hey, maybe we're going to go out to eat once less a week or a month or, maybe we're going to.
And Gil, speaking of that, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. You're bringing up a really good point. When I sit with my clients, I bring all that up. I'm like, okay, how much money are you? How much money do you and your wife bring in after taxes? Okay, great. Now, how much are your bills? How much is cable? How much do you spend? And 99% of the time, a husband and wife, or if it's just they're like, whoa, like I had no idea. Had no clue. Well, yeah, because most people don't take the time to sit down and really look at their finances and see if we're in the black, see if you're if you're making money and everything's good.
Yeah, well, when I sit back and look at how much money I actually make versus how much I have, it makes me sick.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, and that's not like look at me. It's just, on paper it looks like I make all this money, but then my bank account's like, fuck you, Gil.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, what's going on here, man?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So I guess is what other I don't really know any, I've already said kind of my know-how on this. Is there anything else about this topic that we haven't covered that, you know what I mean?
I mean, there's a lot about this topic that we haven't covered. And like I was telling you earlier about, Nelson Nash, the infinite banking concept. They asked him, why did you name it the infinite banking concept? And he said, because it's infinite. Like it's never ending. There's always something to learn. There's always change. There's always new technology. There's always new products that come to play. So we could have a part 2 of this if you wanted to, and I could really get into nitty gritty and whatnot about ins and outs of why don't more people know about this stuff, and why are we on the banking system that we're on, what's the difference between Austrian economics and, Keynesian economics? How come I even never heard of Austrian economics? And, why just, yeah, there's all kinds of topics that we could hit, but I feel that we probably hit the important stuff as far as helping people, right now, because again, this is not just for, people that are making $1 million a month and whatnot. This is for the the blue collar, person that maybe, only making $18 an hour, it's a brand new technician, brand new in the field, starting out $15 an hour. Hey, you know what? Put $100 a month into this, all the way up to the business owner that's doing $300-400 million a month. This is for everybody. It's for everybody.
Yeah, my brother always told me that you need 20 good years, and it's just, if you do it and you're smart, so just think about it. Even if you start when you're 30 and, your 20s, you dicked off, you were a fucking idiot, whatever. You start when you're 30. You retire when you're 50. How many people do you know retire when they're 50? Say you start when you're 40. And you can retire when you're 60. How many people you know retire when you're 60? So just think about the numbers like that. So it's never too late to start. Mr. Tongue asked again, he said, so does this go off medical? I think when you meant medical, like on your health based on like the term, right? Like how long?
So yes, it does check medical. It's going to check your prescription record. It's going to check your medical record to make sure you haven't had no major things, the big ones, diabetes, heart attacks, things like that. Because again, it is a life insurance company. They are life insurance companies. They do, risk is their number one thing they look for. So yeah, they check all that. But if it's what's called fixed, we have what's called a fixed index life annuities. They're fixed index annuities. Those are usually just lump sums that people put in. Those are not medically underwritten because you're either writing a check for, the minimum is 10 grand all the way up to millions of dollars, or you're moving it over from a qualified account, 403b, TSP, 401k, things like that.
No,
and they don't check medical.
Yeah, well, think about it. If this life insurance company is going to give you, you're buying whatever policy it is, and your health's fucked up, and then you die 3 weeks after you sign it, you know what I mean? So it makes sense that they're going to check that. So,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I get that.
At the end of the day, you're a liability to the insurance carrier, and the older that you get, the more the life insurance company is willing to pay you out to terminate the coverage, if that makes sense.
Oh, so if I start it when I'm 40 and I get to be like 65, they're going to try to buy me out.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole, remember earlier I explained the three columns: the death benefit, the surrender charge, and then the your cash accumulation box. That surrender charge is, for the most part, always going to be just a little bit under your death benefit.
Sorry, I'm listening. There's comments coming in. So, some of these people, and like I said, I'll open the phone lines here in a minute, man. If any of you guys if one of you guys would like to call in to talk about this, put it in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to do that if some of you really want to. So Kraus said, Jacob, I had a stroke at 17. I'm 31 now. No issues since I had surgery at Hopkins, close to me.
Good man.
How are we looking? And he said, HIPAA, smiley face. You know what I mean? So would something like that affect him if he's 31 now? It happened when he was 17?
No, he should be fine. I mean, it's more than likely going to be in his medical records, because they're going to, especially if you had surgery and had to go in the hospital, it was like really serious. And they're going to check his prescription. I don't know if he's on any prescriptions or not. They're going to check on all that. If he is on prescriptions, it just depends on what prescriptions he's on and how, like if he's taking them, but like weaning off of them, the prescriptions, or if it's something that he has to, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, he should be good, man. You should be good. And like I said, I'm a broker, so I have something that covers everybody. I have something for everybody. I've covered people, that couldn't get coverage anywhere else, and I was able to get them coverage. And their coverage was their premiums were a little bit more expensive, but they were just happy that they could get something.
That's awesome. Here's another one. I'll put it on the screen for you. Mr. Tongue, if you're opening an account for your family members or your immediate family, and I have a household of 6, would it be individual policies or can I carry them on the same policy as me?
It would be, Mr. Tongue, it'd be more strategic to put them on individual policies.
That makes sense. 'Cause I was gonna say because you could do that either or, but that makes more sense to be individual policies.
Yeah, because that one policy, now you just have kind of one death benefit. It's kind of like a group life deal.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, and I guess let's also explain to them what like, compound interest is and like how that works as far as like a normal, like how the stock market is up and it's down, up and it's down. Well, here lately it's down and it's down, it's down and it's down. But how that compound interest works, I mean, because like I know I explained some of it earlier, but I know I don't know it on the way that you know it about how make them understand how we get to, reap the benefits of the highs, but not the lows.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's easy. So, basically, as the index goes up, well, I'll use right now for example. Obviously, everybody knows that the indexes are going down. The S&P 500 is going down. Everything's tanking like crazy. Right now, our clients are as soon as that that adjustment started happening, our clients were locked in at a fixed rate, so they wouldn't go below zero. Now, as soon as the market fixes itself and it starts going up, doesn't matter how long it takes. It could be, a year, 5 years, 10 years. Hopefully it doesn't take 10 years. Hopefully it fixes pretty soon here, but it doesn't matter how long it takes. Our clients are locked in at that rate, whatever's on their contract, never to go below zero. Usually it's between 1% and 4% is where they're locked in at. And then as soon as the market adjusts itself and it starts going up again, then our clients, the cap comes off. Then they start participating on, on all the gains that come into that come in.
And that's gambling, but you're safe, because if you put money into the stock market right now, if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, it's great, buy low, sell high. Yeah, that sounds simple, but you got to have somebody that's doing that actually has your best interest at hand. And the sad part is there's a lot of people out there that aren't. They're just, investing your money willy-nilly. But there's a lot of risk involved with that. Something like this is a little bit safer. Yeah, you're not going to reap the benefits immediately, but it's something that's going to help you long term. And like we said earlier, being able to, okay, so let's say this, for example. I'm trying to use real world examples for them. So say I got a plan in there and I got $100,000 and I'm like, you know what? I need $50K to put down for my son's school. How is the process of me getting that money out? Does it take a month? I mean, how long? What is that process like?
Gil, you just give me a call and you're like, you know what, Robert, we're gonna do. You don't even need to tell me what you're gonna do with the money. Just give me a call. Robert, I need $50,000. Perfect, done. If it's a weekend, Gil, give me a few days. I'll start the paperwork in. If it's weekday, I'll start the paperwork, and you'll have either a check in the mail within, depending on how mail works, it's usually 3 to 5 business days, or you'll have a direct deposit into your bank account within 3 to 5 business days for the money. No questions asked. Way different from going to the bank and saying, hey, I need $50K. Okay, how much are you working? How much money are you making? What's your credit? Blah, blah, blah. What interest? This is the interest you're going to pay back. Nope, none of that. Because it's a contract, the insurance carrier can't ask you what you're going to do with the money. They can't ask you if you have a job. They can't ask you how you're going to pay this money back.
I know somebody's thinking it out there. Say you get divorced and it's in there. Can your wife take half of this shit?
No.
Yeah.
It can't be. It can't be litigated on. The creditors can't come after this. The IRS can't come after the. Yes, there's taxes that are going to be paid, but they're a lot less than what if you just stick with the plan you have now, if that makes sense.
No, that's awesome. Well, from what I've heard, I mean, I get it. There's risk in everything, but I've heard just from a lot of people that I know who are a lot smarter about this than I am. Somebody like yourself that just say that these are. They are well worth it. You know what I mean? Like it's the safest way to invest your money and have you're going to get guaranteed gains. Yes. Is there other things you can do where maybe you can get more? Of course, but the risk is going to be a lot higher on those, and there's no guarantee that you're even going to make any money off of it.
No. My brother, he's 31. and he's a real tech savvy guy. Like he's a real go getter. I love him to death. I showed him some plans, and I get it. I get this all the time. They're like, oh well, I invest my own. I can make more money on my own. Yeah, that's great. So my brother spends about $100,000 to $200,000 a month to barely make $4,000 a month in gains. Not everybody has that money. Not everybody wants to put the time in to do that. And that's why we're here.
We got a good question. Todd here. I'll put this up on there. Todd, I think it's Dyer. I don't want to say his last name wrong. Say the insurance company goes out of business. What happens?
Oh,
then?
That's a great question, Todd. That's a great question, Todd. Todd, that I lost a sale because of that question because I didn't know how to answer it. So after that, I went and did my research. So what I found out is that there's what's called a book of business within insurance company, the insurance industry. So how earlier I said that I have access to thousands of insurance carriers. So if whatever carrier you have, if they go out of business, another one of these insurance carriers is going to buy that book of business, still protecting you, and nothing's going to change with your contract. It's going to stay the same.
And then
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say when banks go out of business, it's these insurance companies that bail them out. When all these big banks go out of business, it's these insurance carriers that bail them out. It's the policies, because all these big banks and big corporations, they all have these types of policies, and that's where they're making the bulk of their money from.
And then another good question is, I think I could explain this, but I'll let you do it. Jacob asked, so is this a life insurance plan or a retirement plan? So this is a life insurance plan that can be used for retirement purposes.
Correct. That's the simplest way to put it. Exactly. You use it to accelerate your retirement. And also, if anything were to happen to you while you're, alive, while you're either working or whatnot, then your beneficiaries, they get the death benefit. And if anything were to happen to you while you're still alive, so you have a heart attack or stroke or something like that, you can't work, you have access to 99% of that money. If it's something critical, something chronic, or something terminal, you have access to that money.
Yeah,
and I'm talking about the sorry. I was just saying I'm talking about the death benefit money. I'm not just talking about a cash accumulation that you could use while you're alive. I'm talking about the death benefit money. You have access to that if something, like I said, terminal, chronically, or critically were to happen to you.
Yeah, I mean, and guys, like I said, you can put this money in there and you can borrow your own money. Cheaper than any bank is ever going to do it. So make sure I understood this correctly. So say I have $100,000 in there and I use $50,000 of it. Didn't you say, so I'm still getting the gains on $100,000 though, right?
Correct. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. It's
So
called non-recognized loan.
yeah.
It doesn't recognize it.
Yeah, so guys, that's what I'm saying. So you put money into this, and it's not like you put it in a CD and you can't touch it for 10 years. Like, you put this in there, and if you need it, you can still do something with it. You're borrowing your own money, but you're still getting gains on what your total amount was. That's why so many people are... This has been around forever, but like he was saying, this is something the government, and not to get into the whole conspiracy thing, but they don't want you to know about, Like, a lot of people don't want you to know about this, and now the day and age of social media getting bigger, a lot of people are, breaking silence, and they're bringing it up more, and they're talking about it. So no, this is not the same, but I'll let you answer this again. Is this the same thing as a whole life plan?
Yeah. Whole life plans is just a part of the strategy, and again, it just depends on your specific situation.
So
whole life plan
thing.
is just another. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's why I'm not on here. He said they.
Yeah,
know
no,
about
that was
it,
a great question.
He said my brother said they know about it. That's why they have MEC limits.
It's insane. So just I do a lot of research because I have to be my best for my clients. So the IRS didn't come around to the 1913. The whole Franklin D. Roosevelt, and when he made everybody give their gold to them, and then he gave back paper dollars, and then people found out that he was lending out the gold, and then people went back to get their gold, and there was no gold, so he gave more paper. It's a whole thing. I won't go deep into that, but all that, the IRS and stuff, part of them coming to play was because of these life insurance policies. These types of policies have been around for over 400 years, longer than the IRS has been around. That longer than the United States has been around. They go back to as far as the Roman times. They had annuities and things like that way back, before Jesus Christ days. So their plans have been around forever. But again, like I was saying earlier about the whole 1913 and IRS, that should tell you something right there.
Yeah, no, for sure. It definitely should. And there's just like anything this is why you always want to educate yourself and ask questions about things that are out there. And like you said earlier, like I don't watch TV anymore. And that's why like a lot of my friends, like even my friends in this, the HVAC space that are other influencers, YouTubers, Instagrammers, podcasters, they're my friends. I love what they do. I know they put out a good product no matter what it was. A lot of times I don't watch them because I can't create content if I'm consuming content.
Yeah.
I can't make money and try to make a business that I'm involved in better if I'm worried about somebody else's business. You know what I mean? So you got to think about yourself. Sometimes this takes a little bit of your time. You have to cut something out, like we said earlier. But how bad do you really want to change things in your life? How bad are you really worried about your future? Are you willing to cut out what it is now? Like I know somebody told me, they're like, if you quit smoking and put that into a life insurance policy, you'd be fucking rich in 20 years. Telling me, because I smoke like a fucking chimney. And when he started telling me numbers and shit like that, I forget what it was exactly. I was like, fuck. Like,
Dude, it's just insane.
Yeah. Like even when you think about smoking and people are like, oh, well, it's not that bad. Okay, let's say $10 a cigarette, $10 a pack, pack a day, 7 packs a week. That's 28 packs a month. And then when you start adding it up and you start putting things to the bigger picture, that's what makes you be like, well, fuck, this is a lot of money.
Yes. That's exactly it. It adds up. It's that compound effect. It works either against you or with you. It's working no matter what.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Sorry, I got to answer this.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, I mean, and obviously, everything is not foolproof and perfect. There's things to everything. But, for me, guys, I want you guys to just look and see what's out there in ways and think about your retirement and what you can do. Am I telling you that I want you to rush out tomorrow and buy a life insurance policy? No, not necessarily. But I am telling you that I want you to know that there's options out there. You can call Robert, you can call somebody that you trust, whoever it may be. Robert's on here giving advice and willing to help people. If you want to use Robert, then we'll make sure that we can get you his information. If you have somebody else you deal with, then that's fine. But just have this conversation is all that I'm saying. That's why when Robert reached out to me, I loved this topic to have it, like I said earlier, because I think there's too many of us in the trades that bust our ass and we don't plan for what's next. And
hey, Gil, and with that being said, I real quick, a lot of people do have policies, and a lot of people have policies from their work, from their job, whatnot, but they don't really know what it is. They don't know what's going on. They're paying money into something that's not going to work, not going to benefit them, and I run into it all the time. So if that's you out there, if you have a policy, or you think you have what you think you know what you have, reach out to me. And I'll go over your policies for you guys and make sure you know what you have. Make sure you know what you're paying into.
Yeah, like I said, my brother's had many jobs. Some I can't talk about, but he has a business degree. He has a master's degree in finance and a master's degree in business, and he did financial planning for a little bit. So he's always been somebody that I've always had that person that I could lean on to ask questions. And if he doesn't know it, he knows somebody who knows that answer. So that's what's always been good, because and that's one thing my brother will put in here is like, we come from a hardworking blue collar family. Obviously, everybody knows my dad did HVAC. My mom was hardworking. And like our dad was very good at making money, but he wasn't very good at saving and planning for the future. So we all tried to take that hard work ethic from him about get working money and making money, but trying to learn from saving and putting it away for retirement and for the future. Because to be honest, if it wasn't for our dad and the whole military Agent Orange thing and stuff like that, he really wouldn't have had any, he would have had minimal to live off of, a guy who, served his country and, for 10 years and, did all this, busted his ass for all those years, would have been left with nothing, So I don't want to see any of you out there do that. So that's my whole point of this, is I want you to know that there's options and think about it now. The sooner, the better. Don't be okay with, oh, my company has a 401k. To be honest with you, that should be the bare fucking minimum. Even if you go start your own IRA through your bank, something like your 401k through your company should be the bare minimum that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you, Gil. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's so people are asking for links. So I can put it down here. Just give them your email. Is that what you want, or what
you could give them my email, and I put let's see, I put my website on that form, and it's basically it's a booking link. You could go there, and it basically you're gonna have to put your email address in, and then it'll show you about an 11-minute video just to tell you a little bit more about me and a little bit more about what we talked about today. And then from there, you could book an appointment, for whatever day works best for you. And then also my number's 951-293-9791. That's my personal line. So you can give me a call whenever.
I'm copying this stuff, guys, and putting it all in there now. So give me a second. And I'll try to make sure that this stuff is in the show notes as well.
Absolutely.
When the audio version comes out. Oh shit! Did I give you the right email? I gave the email that I was working. That I sent you the one that doesn't have your name in it.
You can use the R Garcia at adv1brokers.com.
Okay, I accidentally put the other one. So here, let me delete that off here first, so nobody fucking does that. Remove. Let me take that one off. I retracted it. My bad. I saw the other one and I was like, whoops, that's not the one I just put in there.
And to go back to the whole risk thing, life insurance, the only way that your money is going to be unsafe is if something crazy happens, like World War III, or just, this recession, or it's more of a depression, what we're in right now. They just haven't announced it, last for the next 10 or 15 years. That's the only way really something bad's going to happen. If you put your money into it with a life insurance company. But for the most part, every company that I work with, they paid dividends. They paid up for the last 150 years. Some of these companies we have, they're 100 plus years old. So it's the safest and most soundest place you could put your money into, where you can sleep at night and not have to worry about what's happening with the market.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Hey, did anybody, you don't have to, it's just the option. Did anybody want to call in and ask a question? Do you want me to open the lines up, or you guys good just type it in the chat? You guys let me know. And I guess one question, based on what my brother put in here, when he said, that's why they have MEC limits. Can you explain to everybody what is MEC limits?
MEC, yes, modified endowment contracts. That just means that you could put so much into a life insurance policy until it turns into an investment. Once it flips that little thing, then it turns into an investment. Now you're paying taxes on all your gains. So our job is, my job basically is to make sure that doesn't happen.
So is that based on the amount of money, or as far as what you're doing with the policy? Like what makes that happen? If I get up to like $10 million, or if, I keep like taking money out, putting it back, taking money out, putting it back. Like what criteria is behind that?
It just depends on how much money you're going to put in within the amount of time allotted. So And again, I can't really give you numbers because it auto generates specifically for everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody's mech year is different. I've seen it in year 1. I've seen it mech out at year 5. I've seen it mech in year 80 of the policy. So it just depends on how much money you're putting into the. So when you buy a life insurance policy, you're buying the death benefit is really what you're buying. So there's so much money you could put into it to where you now own that death benefit. When you go over that, that's when it turns into a mech. That's when you're starting to pay taxes because again, this is not an investment vehicle. It's just a life insurance policy. So everything's it's under, the death benefit. It's under the policy.
Yeah, so that's why when we said earlier, it is a life insurance policy, but can be used for retirement if
Correct.
the way it's done. Just so you guys know,
Correct.
just the way that it makes sense. That's awesome. I mean, I don't want to sit here. I don't want to beat a dead horse. If there's anything, so if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and put those questions in the comments now, and we will, we'll get those questions answered, and we'll probably start, shutting this thing down here in about, 10 or so minutes. So how does this work as far as like HVAC and the insurance? Is it kind of like just whichever one takes more of your time, or is it going and doing the HVAC and then doing all the insurance stuff around that? Like, how's that working for you?
So I mean, I turned off all my advertising and promoting as far as the HVAC company. I'm still busy from referrals and just everything that I built up. I take care of that. I pretty much interweave. I mean, you create your own schedule. So I have my schedule laid out. But it is going more towards selling insurance because so it's a whole different topic. If there's anybody that is interested in this part of it, feel free to reach out to me. Again, I've had my HVAC business since 2007. I know the ins and outs of it as you do as well, Gil. I know how much money I need to spend to make a certain profit. Selling life insurance, I make the same profits I do, as HVAC, minus having to spend all the money I need to spend in HVAC, minus having to be going out and crawling in attics, under houses, dealing with customers, and just all the fun stuff that comes with the HVAC trade,
Yeah, what do you mean
So,
you're gonna miss that? That stuff's great,
and that's why I'm still a little bit in the field. I don't turn down money. And I'll kid you not. Like there'll be a day where I'll go out and make $5,000, installing a new system, whatever, and then that same day I'll make $5,000 in my office from home selling a policy to somebody, from doing virtual without having to deal with all that stuff. So that's kind of, and then we are hiring. You can build a huge team, so you don't have to really worry about sending technicians out there that don't know what they're doing, or the jobs and getting messed up and whatnot. That's a headache in itself.
Yeah. Training is, one of the biggest things, especially if you start to grow. I deal with that all the time. Is, we've got. I definitely don't want to use the word mastered, but I think we have a good process down that seems to be working.
Yes.
But like anything else, it can always be better.
Yeah. And that's what it is at the end of the day. It's about systems, process. If you have your system and process down, you're solid. You're good to go. And that's what I love about selling insurance. Again, I love HVAC. HVAC got me to where I'm at today. I made lots of money doing it. I know it's just me working in the field now, but hey, like I could stop working, now and be good for a long time. But I'm not that type of person. I keep going, it's just selling insurance. If you could make the same amount of income without having to deal with all the stuff that we deal with in the insurance world, then why not?
Yeah, damn right. So I guess let's see, Hughes Man. This is he's a friend of mine. He's a YouTuber. It's got a big channel. So my wife and I got some life insurance a few years back. It makes me feel good knowing that my family will be taken care of if I head to the upper room. So, Hughes, just so you know, yes, that's great. But what we talked about on some of this is, doing some of those plans, with like compound interest where you're using a life insurance plan almost as like retirement as well. So you get the gains, but you don't have to worry, the gains of the stock market, but not the bad part. So can't go all through over it again, but I highly suggest that you watch this video after it goes, brother, because there were some really, really good nuggets that we did in here. And I'm going to do another podcast where I'm going to have my brother on and just talk about this every so often, because I really think this is a good topic to have. And if you look up in here, we put all of Robert's information, his email, his phone number, and all that kind of stuff. If any of you would like to reach out, ask him questions, you'd like to buy something, whatever it may be, you guys can reach out to him and contact him. But yeah, man, fuck, it's almost 10 o'clock here, man. We've been rocking and rolling for a little bit. Robert, I really do appreciate you reaching out to me, man, because something about this conversation just kind of hit me, and I thought it would be a great show to have, because most of my guests are HVAC related, where what we're talking about is HVAC related. But I feel like this is HVAC related, even when it's not, because it can help the people in the trades. Like we said, I said a million times here, plan for retirement and plan a way out. I tell everybody when you get in this industry, you should always have an end game, whether that is going to be owning a company, whether that is going to be a manager, whatever it is. Retirement has to be in your end game plans, just in life. So, yeah. So I hope that you guys all got something from this. Please reach out to Ryan. I'm sorry, Robert. I was reading a comment. Ryan is Hughes. Reach out to Robert if you have any questions. Stay in touch with me, man. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. Absolutely. I really, really appreciate this conversation. And we can set up something again. We can have it and do a little more interacting. Maybe I can bring my brother on at the same time. We can have all three of us on here and talk about some different things and, let those people, if that's the case, I'll make sure that I promote that a lot in advance so that you guys know. So maybe you can write some questions down and, come and ask a question. And then between the three of us, we'll try to do our best to be able to answer it. Well, I'll say that those two will answer it. I don't know if you want me answering it. I know a little bit about a little bit, but that's this isn't something where I would want to give somebody advice on, so I don't know if I'd do that.
You do the Henry Ford method, right? Henry Ford method.
Yeah.
You got, when you need some answer, you just push a button. Yeah. Somebody comes out with the answers.
Hey, there you go. This guy, Familia Sanchez, says, is it better to buy life insurance policies or sell them?
Both. I mean, I'll start off. It's better to buy a policy because you're going to need it anyways. I'm covered. I don't want to say I never believed in life insurance, but I didn't think it was really necessary because, come on, I'm a young HVAC business owner. I'm gonna live forever. Come on, let's get it done. As soon as I started selling insurance and I looked into it, I was like, holy cow, I just had 2 babies. I need, excuse me, I need insurance. So I right away, I just bought me the simplest, term policies just to get me some coverage for now. And then as I started digging deeper, I started putting, getting better plans in place. Like I said, I got some plans for my daughters that by the time they're 50, they're going to be millionaires, like multi-millionaires, yeah.
That's awesome. And what better gift can you give your children, And I know some people that said they did stuff like this when their kids were born, and by the time they get to 18, 19, 20, they can use that to pay for college. They can buy a house, whatever they want to do with it. Because that one, like that Gerber thing that was out, wasn't that pretty much what that was? Was just some form of life insurance plan?
That's what it was. It was. There were, I don't want to sit and compare, but yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. I thought it was something similar to that. So, yeah, guys, I hope this helps, man. And definitely get in touch with Robert if there's something, if you want to, if God forbid something gets mixed up, you don't find, you go back in the comments and you don't see this or you didn't save it, reach out to me and then I can get you in touch with Robert, however you want to do. And like I said, obviously Robert is here, but if there's somebody that you trust that you're going to do, then by all means do that. It's just have the conversation. And if you don't have a person, Robert is there to answer your questions and do whatever you got to do, whatever you need. What did somebody say? Those are the kids I hate, little bastards. What, the trust fund kids? Hey, set your kids up, man.
And that's exactly right. So, like I said, my daughter, when they turn 24, they're going to have access to so much money, but they're not just going to get that money. There's going to be, I'm going to have a trust in place, and there's going to be stipulations in place for them to have access to that money. And that's exactly what the Rockefellers did. So you know who the Vanderbilts are, right?
Oh yeah.
You know who the Rockefellers are, obviously. We just talked about them. So the Vanderbilts, they're broke. Their money ran out after 4 generations. They're equivalents to Rockefellers, same money, give or take. They're broke. The Rockefellers, they put these plans in place and trusts, but they also had stipulations in order for the generations to come to get this money. And that's why they are still where they're at today, because they're not going to just shit the money away. They're not going to trust fund baby the money away.
Yeah. Well, who is it? What is it? The DuPonts or what's the name of that family that's supposed to be like the richest family in the world? Is that them?
The Rothschilds.
Rothschilds. That's it. The Rothschilds.
DuPont's also them. DuPonts are a part of them. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that they're the richest, and they have that generational wealth, and they're so smart. And the thing is, they have a bunch of money, but when you look at them, some of them don't. Well, they live the way you think they would live. Don't get me wrong, but they have the means to do so much more than they do, but they're just very savvy investors in what they do with their money to make sure that it keeps regenerating. You don't have the lotto mentality. Most people that win the lottery and they win $2 million, they're fucking bankrupt or broke at some point in their life because they're trying to live like those millionaires who have that constant revenue stream versus these people that don't. They quit their job, they don't work, they buy a big ass house, all these cars, do all this dumb stuff, and then the money's gone. You know what I mean? So, Christ, I wish I could win fucking couple $100 million now, because trust me, I have quite a few fucking life insurance plans, and I'd make that generational wealth. You be talking about the Cavies like you're talking about fucking, the DuPonts or the fucking Rothschilds, because I would most certainly make the most of that fucking money. That's why I'll never win. But let me start to end this show, man. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate you. When all this goes out, I'll make sure to get you a copy of all this. And if you're not already, are you already a member of my Facebook group?
I think I am. I'll check right now.
Yeah, go to HVAC Uncensored Nation. If you're not, then I'll make sure I approve you personally, and you can bring this conversation in there. Some of those guys are dicks. You got to be careful, but the ones that have a brain in their head, they'll start engaging in the conversation and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, let me close this out. Have a good night, buddy, and I really, really appreciate you coming on, my man.
You too, Gil. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. All right, guys, let me go ahead and close this out real fast. So I hope that you guys had a great, you enjoyed this conversation and you learned something from it. Like this whole point was to educate you guys and educate me just as much. I know a little bit about a little bit when it comes to this because I've made some investments, in over the years to try to help my future. But I don't know everything about it, but I want you guys to be able to benefit. And I want you to be able to do something with that money that you guys work so hard for. So I hope that this helped. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm trying to do more podcasts like this that are just not necessarily HVAC related, but they help the tradesmen themselves try to do different things and help you and stuff like that. I got one that I talked to somebody that's going to be, if any of you would like to get into the real estate game or how you can do real estate to build, a financial future as well. So just so you guys have that option, if you decide never to do it, then so be it. But at least you're hearing the conversation from somebody who knows it. All right. Guys, please remember to follow me on all the social media sites, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. If you are not following, subscribed, or whatever the fuck it is, please do so. I would greatly appreciate that. Remember, I have giveaways going. I'm getting ready to start picking winners, and I feel like I try to give shit away, and people are like, huh? It takes 15 minutes. So you guys remember the podcast I did with Mr. Craig Migliaccio, a.k.a. AC Service Tech, one of the greatest learning channels for HVAC on YouTube that there is out there. We have worked together in conjunction with him to do this giveaway, to give away one of his books, workbooks, and these little cards that have every formula, cheat sheet that you could possibly want in HVAC. It comes to being like $150 value. But it is gold in there. I am using these books and these workbooks in the training that we do for Beltway and our technicians. It is absolutely amazing. At any point in your career, this can help you to go through this and really, really know it. We're going to give one of those away for free. All you have to do is go to that video. You guys are already here. Go to HVAC Uncensored Nation. First, you have to be subscribed to this channel, of course. Go to the video podcast that I did with him. So the video one, for some reason, the audio ones are going. I gotta take those out. The video podcast with Craig that says HVAC Uncensored talks to AC Service Tech. Comment in the comments, book. At the end of this week, I'm probably gonna give it as long as I can, maybe Friday-ish, is the longest I'll go. I am going to pick a winner, and then you send me your address. I'll send it over to Craig's secretary, and then she will literally send you all of this stuff for you to use. That's how simple it is. The other one is going to be, oh, remember, I want that book. I got you, Tongue. Go ahead and I saw you commented already, buddy, so I appreciate that. If nobody comments, then fuck it. I guess you're going to be the only person to win it anyway. The other one is in conjunction with Yellow Jacket and Blue On. Once again, you have to be subscribed to the HVAC Uncensored YouTube channel. If you go to the podcast I did with Mr. Pete, the CEO of Blue On, so it says HVAC Uncensored Talks with Blue On, and it says Mr. Pete, and I can't say Capachakari or something like that. I can't say his last name. And you want to comment in there, Blue On Pro. So not the episode I did tech support, the one that I talked to Mr. Pete, the CEO, the first one. Comment Blue On Pro. Then you have to be a Blue On Pro member, which is free. Okay? All of that will take you maybe 15 minutes. That one, I have shit tons of stuff to give away that I'm going to start picking winners probably the end of this week or at very latest the beginning of next week. Yellow Jacket wireless manometers. Yellow Jacket air and pressure kits. Vacuum pumps. Klein meters. Vito tool bags. I mean, I have all kinds of shit to give away. All right. So please, you can't win more than once. So once you win, then, you would be out of the conversation. But the more people that do it, the merrier. If it ends up being the same person, I got to send all the shit to the same person, then, maybe I'll break the rules and do it. But I want to make sure that all of you get to win those prizes. So please go and do that. All right. Time to close this out. Guys, remember, be safe out there. We all have somebody to make it home to. It's a crazy fucking world we live in. Keep your head down. Do what you got to do and make it home. Make it back home to your family. Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy. If there's something you want in life, God damn it, go get it. Nobody's stopping you but you. Nobody's standing in your way but you. There's so many resources out there this day and age. Books, podcasts, YouTube, whatever it may be, to make yourself better. There's no excuse, okay? If you want something, go fucking get it. And last but not least, I love you guys, man. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I thank you so much. Man, it took me, 3.5 years, almost 4 years to get to 1 million downloads. Guys, I am like 122,000 downloads away from 2 million downloads. And I'm not saying that to, oh, look at me. I'm saying that because I am literally astonished that many people listen to this dumb fucking guy talk. I really am. I cannot believe it. So thank you guys. I am forever grateful to you. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. The website is finally almost done. So the HVAC Uncensored merch store will be up there for anybody that wants any kind of merch. All kind of different things I'm doing with that will finally be done. But anyway, I'm getting fucking be a airbag over here. Have a good night. Stay safe. Another show tomorrow. I don't know if we're actually going to do it because there's been some issues with the guest and headphones, and they have an ear implant, and I don't know. So I don't know if I'm even going to be able to do one tomorrow. If you see the alert go out for it, then I'm doing it. If you don't, just know that that's why, and I'll see you motherfuckers next week. If you were wondering, Friday I was supposed to do the one with Jeff Dem HVAC from Instagram, one of the best fucking installers on the planet. This shit looks amazing. We had a scheduling conflict, so he has rescheduled for like a week or two away, but he is still coming on the podcast. That's going to be an amazing one. Got some awesome fucking guests coming up for you guys, so make sure that you stay tuned, and that's the reason you should be following all the social media. All right? All right, I think that's it. Have a good night. Until next time, I'll talk to you motherfuckers later, all right? Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.